Yo, yo, yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Freedom Marcher, Freedom Family, Freedom Lovers, and Freedom Fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. Starting y'all day off with this here morning paper. This here morning paper there. Hold on, just 1 second, guys. Good morning, good morning. Freedom Marchers, Freedom Family, Freedom Lovers, and Freedom Fighters. How is your day going? It is Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. And I just dropped my kids off at school. Funny story. I dropped my kids off at school, and one of the kids are selling, one of the students, well, a group of students are selling coffee to parents that are dropping their kids off. Good morning, Tanya D. Tanya D, you've been around for a while, right? You've been around for a few years, stopping in. So, some of the kids are selling coffee, which is a cool little hustle, man. Good little hustle. And Steph Brown, salute to you. Good morning. It's a good little hustle, but anyway. So one of the kids that are selling the coffee are friends with my daughter, okay? And she looks at the other kid and she's like, hey, that's, what's her name's dad? And they were like, oh yeah? And she was like, yeah. And then she looked at me, she said, you got a lot of kids, bro. I'm like, yeah. And then she was like, that's unfortunate. Man, that shit cracked me up, boy. That tickled me. She said, that's unfortunate. Wow. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. That's right, Tanya D. Let me go ahead and add you as a moderator. Man, I just thought that was a funny little story. Salute to Marcy T in the building. Good morning. Good morning, Queen Marcy T, my indigenous sister from the north. Anyway, hugs to you as well, Marcy T. So anyway, here's that cracked me up. That made my day. So Jeffrey Epstein, we're back on that, right? Interesting information came out about this little birthday book that Ghislaine Maxwell gave to him on his 50th birthday. And let me tell you about this birthday book. It's about 230 something pages, and you can go through a lot of these. A lot of the images for these pages are online. A lot of creepy shit. Obviously. And you know, there are individuals that wrote in the book, people that left notes, some billionaires, a lord from England, all kind of people. And what they're telling you is, oh, well, you know, this birthday book doesn't really mean nothing, right? In regards to what he was doing to service the elites with little children. That's what they want you to believe. But there are some things I want to point out from that book that just speaks to the type of people that Jeffrey Epstein ran around with and all that shit. I mean, it's wild as hell. And one thing in particular is a note or a message, however you want to phrase it, that former President Bill Clinton wrote to Jeffrey Epstein, which basically says something about this, that, and the third. And then eventually he talks about Jeffrey Epstein's childlike qualities. Okay? Childlike qualities. And, you know, it's a very interesting play on words, in my opinion. It's basically an admission from Bill Clinton, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that Bill Clinton knew what type of person Jeffrey Epstein was. Knew about his, proclivities, his nasty proclivities. You know what I'm saying? And we know that, right? Bill Clinton was on the manifest for the Lolita Express that went to the Epstein Island. We know he was on there. We know a number of people were on that manifest. And, you have to ask yourself, if they weren't going to that island to be serviced by Jeffrey Epstein, to be serviced by underage children that were giving massages, what were they going to that island for? And of course, Bill Clinton's spokespeople, they came out and said, oh, well, we didn't know what Jeffrey Epstein was up to. How could you not? How could you not know anything about what Jeffrey Epstein was up to? Especially, oh, god damn this fucking, okay. Man, the sun is just glaring and glaring. Anyway, you gotta watch that around this parts. Anyway, there's no way in my mind, salute to Brother Shelton, good morning to you. There's no way in my mind you knew nothing. I cannot believe that you knew nothing about what Jeffrey Epstein was up to. Nothing. Given what he did for a living, which was basically broker power amongst the elites, right? He moved money around. He provided certain services for these individuals. And if you didn't know about it, then you didn't know nothing about Jeffrey Epstein. Especially not enough about him to write such a message to him in a birthday book. In this book as well are pictures of Jeffrey Epstein with women and all this other shit whose faces were blacked out, all kind of women. There was also a cartoon that was drawn that showed Jeffrey Epstein at age, it is a very interesting juxtaposition where they had a picture of Jeffrey Epstein around a birthday cake at age 23, and there was a bunch of little girls around the birthday cake, right? Or so, I think that's what age it was. God damn, this sun is fucking ridiculous, bro. Like, I can't even see. God damn, man, this shit is crazy as hell. And then it shows him on a table being serviced by multiple women later on in life. It's an interesting juxtaposition that it speaks to the type of shit these individuals are into, right? It speaks to their evil nature in regards to sexuality, the objectification of women, the objectification, is that a word? The objectifying of women. How the founding of the Playboy magazine, Hustler magazine, the type of articles they had in there, the type of cartoons they had in these publications. You're not just looking at half-naked women, right? They would write articles, they would write stories that would show, that would depict grown men wanting to do things and doing things to little children in these publications that were for sale to the public. This shit goes way back. These people, and of course, if you look at the lifestyle of a Hugh Hefner, you understand that at the Playboy Mansion, anything goes with anyone at any age, right? And these people were allowed and are allowed to participate in these behaviors. They're allowed to do it. And Jeffrey Epstein was a facilitator. And this birthday book just reminds you what's on these people's minds 24/7. The way they operate, the way they move and shake, the way they move money around, the way they broker power, the way they hold power over other individuals, the way they leverage themselves, the way they blackmail people, is all surrounding this nasty behavior with the children and sexuality. That's all they care about at the end of the day. These people are horny as hell 24/7, and all is how they're going to get over on your children, how they groom you and groom your children. Ghislaine Maxwell was a groomer of hundreds and hundreds of little girls and probably young boys as well. She was allowed to do this for so long, and the level of individuals involved in this, the elite levels that these people are in, they law enforcement on any level, I'm pretty sure that there are members in law enforcement during these times that knew what they were doing, and they likely even participated in these in the acts. They participated in these parties. They were serviced by these people, which is why they got away with it for so long. And when it came to finally prosecuting them, you find out that the attorney general used to be lawyers and all this shit of these people. These people know each other. They know what they're doing. Now, for whatever reason, Jeffrey Epstein stepped out of line. He stepped out of pocket, and they wanted to put him back in pocket. They wanted to shut his ass down, and they're shutting Ghislaine Maxwell down. And they're giving you the impression that they're trying to find out what's going on. Congress just got, apparently Congress just got a hold of some of these Epstein files. It's going through some committee or something. And the question is, why does it have to go through committee? Why aren't we just releasing this shit? Well, it's because we know and they know who may be involved with Jeffrey Epstein. We know that at the end of the day, if the real information came out, the people would be outraged. The people will be outraged. So they have to find a way to calm us down, right? They have to find a way to feed us information that would have us believing that they're trying to seek justice. But what they're going to feed us is going to be a line of bullshit. It's going to be a line of bullshit. But they're going to give you some real crumbs here and there. Right? They're going to give you a Bill Clinton. They're going to give you a Donald Trump. Excuse me. These are going to be some of the sacrificial lambs, right? Even though now they're saying that Donald Trump was an informant, right? Of course, you have people that don't believe that. They think that that's not true. By the time they give us any information, it's going to be so doctored up that they might as well not release it in the first place. Truth Seekers says that I don't believe we'll ever get the truth. No, you probably won't. You probably won't. But in instances like this, I like to say that silence is confirmation. The level of stonewalling that is occurring right now is unprecedented. And they're not being stonewalled, like law enforcement isn't being stonewalled by anybody, right? Congress isn't being stonewalled by law enforcement. These judges aren't stonewalling, right? The judges that won't release the grand jury information, the Congress people that are acting like they got to go through these committees to release, the DOJ not releasing shit. All these people, right? Where they're supposed to have checks and balances, right? There's supposed to be checks and balances between Congress and the judicial branch and the executive branch. But all three are covering this shit up. All three branches. This should not even be a partisan issue, right? But they're making it a partisan issue. They're trying to point to the Democrats and say, look, the Democrats are nasty. They're trying to point to the Republicans. The Republicans are nasty. And a lot of us are taking it and running with it. We're focused on, well, which party has the most pedophiles? Which party has the most evil and violative people? Which party does more wrong than the other? That's what this points to. So when they tell you, oh, look, Bill Clinton said that Jeffrey Epstein had childlike qualities. Well, they're giving you that so that you can focus on the idea or the fact that Bill Clinton is a Democrat. When they tell you Donald Trump is in the file, Donald Trump's name is on the list. Well, they're just giving you ammunition to say, look, Donald Trump's a Republican, so obviously the Republicans are full of pedophiles. You see how it works? We are focused on partisan bullshit in regards to child sex trafficking. Child sex trafficking and seeking justice for those children is not a partisan issue. It's a human issue. It's a human rights issue. Protecting the children from these elite pedophiles is not a partisan issue. But we're so focused on making everything partisan. We're so focused on making things left versus right, right versus left, that we're not making any real progress. We're making no progress whatsoever. When it comes to border security, they do with everything. When it comes to border security, oh, well, the Democrats are letting everybody over here. The Democrats the Biden let so many illegal immigrants over here. Well, help me understand why the Republicans couldn't do anything to stop it. Right? What did they do? They played these games. Let me tell you which games they played. What did the governors of Texas and Florida do with a lot of these immigrants? What did they do? They put them on buses and planes and sent them where? To Democratic cities. Well, why couldn't they just fly them back out of the country? You see these games? Instead of the governor of Texas saying, you know what? We're going to use our resources in Texas. We're going to take these people. We're going to send their asses back across the border. However they got to do it. Instead, you take them further into the United States to Democratic cities because they say, look, we're a sanctuary city. Well, you're contributing to the immigrant crisis. Marcia T said, for real, Obama said all young men need a gay older friend because he's a weirdo. These people are all weird. They're all weird. Samuel's threatening somebody. Who the fuck is Samuel and who are they threatening? What happened, Sunshine? People in here making threats? Okay, well, nothing I'm not used to. But when I give these people the opportunity to act out on the threats, they don't show up. It is what it is. Just like last Friday, when somebody was talking about they was watching me. All right, do more than watch. Do more than watch. Spooky Tooth says the only difference is Democrats help the working people. How do they help the working people? How do Democrats help the working people? The Democrats help the rich as well. What are you talking about? How? Explain to me how Democrats help the working people. Tell me. You see, this is what we do. This is what we do. We act like one side is doing something the other isn't. Right? We say, oh, well, the Democrats care about the working class. The Republicans don't. Well, the last I checked, the middle class is shrinking no matter who's in office. Because at the end of the day, there are what is known as special interest groups. Social Security. Well, the Social Security fund is getting dried up. Why is that? Because they take the money that's in that fund and they use it elsewhere. It doesn't matter who's in office. Doesn't matter. Social Security has been going away for decades. Y'all simply don't understand that. They distribute funds as they see fit. Once money goes into a budget, they move things around. Now, do they spend a lot of money on the defense budget? Yes, they do. They spend a lot of money on the defense budget. They spend a lot of money for foreign aid. They take our Social Security. We pay into Social Security, right? They take it out of our money, out of our check. But yet, how is it not going to be around by 2050? How is there not going to be any Social Security when people are paying into it? Well, that's due to the acts of the government, period. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat. But what Democrats do is they want to spend money on all these social programs that are supposed to help people. But by the time the money for these social programs gets to the end user, it's fucking ridiculous. It's asinine. It doesn't help anybody. So let's say in California is hella liberal, right? They care about all these social programs. Oh, well, look at this social program. Look at that social program. Look at all this. Oh, when people are unemployed, California does this and that. Well, I lived in California. And I've been on unemployment in California. But guess what? Your employer pays in unemployment and you pay in the unemployment while you're working. But what you get when you're unemployed per week doesn't amount to shit. So if I'm working on a construction project and the construction project ends and you either your contractor sits you at home for a couple weeks or you go back on the books, you have to get unemployment. I had to go on unemployment when I was in the apprenticeship program because I had to go to school for a week. Well, guess what? If I'm making $1,500 a week and I go on unemployment and my unemployment is $450 a week, how does that help? It's $450. By the time, see, let me tell you, if you cut out the middleman, all right, somebody says SFTU. Yeah, get him out of here. If you are telling me to shut the fuck up, but you're in my chat listening, that means you're retarded and I need you to go seek help. I need you to go I need you to go get that looked at because it makes no sense. Anyway, If you cut out the middleman, which is the government, there's nothing wrong with helping your fellow man. If you decide and voluntarily donate to whatever program or to whomever you choose. But if you have a middleman known as the government that is siphoning this fund, right? Like Social Security, unemployment. Well, so much money is getting sucked out of it by the time it gets to the end user. The amount that individual could have gotten without the government bureaucracy, without the red tape, without all the waste that is associated with that fund, if you cut all that shit out, let's say you have a community of 1,000 people. You have a small community of 1,000 people. And you guys, everybody works, whatever the case may be. And those 1,000 people, every week, they put $100 into a fund. Right? Let's say you built that fund up. You put it in stocks and bonds. You put it in, you invested, whatever. And that money builds and builds and builds. And the community does this for 10 or 12 years. You have millions of dollars in this fund. And somebody is working and they're used to making $1,000 a week. But they get laid off or whatever the case may be, or shit slows down. They can access this fund and get that $1,000 a week because the money will go directly to them because it's in a fund. So guess what? You go to whomever is overseeing this fund, the treasurer or whatever the case may be. That treasurer determines, okay, you need assistance for a little bit. We're going to give you all the assistance you need until you find a new job or until your crops come back or whatever, however the fuck you want to work it out. If you cut out all the bullshit red tape, if you cut out all the people in between that you got to pay that ain't doing shit, like all these people at this call center that don't ever answer the phone and they're getting paid to have attitudes, and all they're doing is saying, you're asking them, what's taking so long with my unemployment? What's taking so long with my disability? Like, you cut out all the bullshit. And because the community is so small that everybody knows each other, you don't have to go through all that. Well, guess what? That fund can pay out those individuals that need it, and they will get a lot more assistance than they would otherwise if the federal government or a whole state government was controlling it. You cut out all this bullshit. You cut out all the overhead of all these buildings that you go to that really don't fucking help. You shut down this call center where people never answer the phone. No, you just go, you walk right down the street or you make a phone call. Why? Because this fund is being replenished by a small amount of people. It's easier to oversee. It's easier to keep track of what's going in and out. It's easier to prevent skimming from the top. No. You pay the people that are handling this fund a salary. They handle the fund. You know, they make sure, okay, we're going to invest it in this. We're going to do a low risk investments, you know, just to keep it, you know, going up. Because guess what? Everybody that's contributing to this fund should also get a percentage of the dividends that are of the return. The smaller the system, the more smoothly it runs. The more oversight you have, the more accountability that is held. But when you grow these systems and these governments so large that there's less and less accountability, then you get things like Social Security running out. You get things like when you go on unemployment, you get $200 a week. You can eliminate all that by keeping it small. Alexandria Cigar says, okay, but America's like 125 million people. Exactly. So if you have, and listen, Social Security, well, you're talking about 125 million working people. Yes, there's about 125. Patrick, she's talking about working individuals that actually contribute, that actually get extorted. She's talking about 125 million extortion people, extortion victims. She's not talking about the total amount, because not everybody, those 300. Let me tell you, and I'm back, right? Give me a Romeo Lima Charlie. Nellosphere asks, where's my channel at? It's right here. The reason they're throttling my channel is because I'm not playing the left-right paradigm games. They want me to attack the Democrats and Bill Clinton. And they want me to attack them to create more division amongst the people. When I talk about Trump and the files, they want me to attack Trump and the Republicans. Well, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shed light on the fact that both parties have individuals on that list. And it's not about parties. It's not about left. It's not about right. They want you to think it's about that. But when we talk about the elite class don't divide themselves like that. Either you're elite or you're not. Those are the lines upon which they divide. Salute to Stormy B-Man in the building. Salute to you. Listening to your live this morning. Great live, man. Very, very good insight on the villain role played by black fighters that they want us to play. Very, very, very good commentary, man. Very good commentary. Ron Paul is the GOAT. Well, Ron Paul participated in the system, did he not? I'm not saying now. Ron Paul, is he one of the realest out there? Probably, but he still had to play his position when he was in office. You have to play your position. If you run on a Republican platform or a Democrat platform, and I know he was a libertarian, essentially, but guess what he had to do when he got in there? There's not enough libertarians to hold any power in House or in the Congress, or in the Senate. So he had to vote along certain party lines, which were typically the Republican Party lines, because he didn't have enough power to really present any libertarian views. He could present them, but there was nothing out there for him to do. You know what I'm saying? Sunshine said, "Don't come in here thought." You funny, Sunshine. David Miller, why are you concerned about whether I'm black or not, bro? Like y'all come in here. It doesn't matter if I tell y'all I'm black. Y'all don't give a shit about that. So I'm gonna let y'all believe what y'all want to believe about my race. I'm gonna let y'all believe what y'all want. Queen Sister Cameron, salute to you. She says, good morning and congratulations on your win yesterday. Salute to you. I appreciate that. Plum Zeely, no, I'm not biracial. I'm not biracial at all. I'm not biracial at all. You got it wrong. Am I a Trumpster? No. I don't even, no, I'm not a Trumpster. No. Y'all need to listen. I am not a political person. I'm apolitical. I'm an anarchist, and I believe in freedom. So I am a freedom marcher. That's what I am. If you ask what my political affiliation is, it's a freedom marcher, and I'm going to be introducing a political party known as the Opt-Out Party. And it's not going to be like any political party you've ever witnessed. No, it's not. It's not. And the only reason I want to present it as a political party is so that my message is heard. I'm not really trying to win any office. It'll never happen. I would never win on a platform I'd run on. And the platform that I would run on is the platform of being able to opt out of government participation. As an American citizen, if the opt-out party gets its way, individuals will be able to remove themselves from the government system. And I would never win on that platform. Stormy B Man says, I'll tell you what you are. That's funny. 6-bit vid. You want to know why color is such a big deal? It's just a distraction. It's just a distraction tactic. That's all. Yeah, I'm not for any side. What I'm for is individual sovereignty. And you can't pick a side when you talk about that. There is no sides to pick. So you know what that means? That means that the way that I feel and the way I know people should be able to live their life, it wouldn't matter if you had conservative views, if you had liberal views, if you had libertarian views. It wouldn't matter if you wanted to form a community of like-minded people. It wouldn't matter if you wanted to live in a commune with a bunch of naked people. It wouldn't matter. Why? Because as long as you're not harming other people, as long as you're not violating other people's rights, as long as you're not destroying the community and destroying the environment as you're living your life, then I don't give a shit what you do. Now, if you live in a naked commune and you got children in that commune, you better not do anything appropriate with those children. And listen, it's not appropriate with the state of the world today to be naked around children. Not in this society. But there are societies around the world where, like in certain tribes of indigenous nations, they're naked around each other. Just there's nothing sexual about it. But at the end of the day, what I am for is people behaving as they so choose, as long as they're not violating other individuals. If you're not violating your neighbor, if you're not violating your children, you're not violating. If you want to smoke crack, go smoke crack somewhere. Go smoke your crack, but don't hurt other people while you're smoking your crack. If you want to go buy crack, go ahead and buy some crack. But don't steal from me to get the money to buy your crack. You get what I'm saying? If you want to drink alcohol, you want to smoke some weed, go ahead. As long as you don't cause harm to others. As long as you don't get in the car, inebriated than a bitch, and go around causing harm to other people and putting other people in danger. KW says don't diddle kids. Exactly. Dino 2 Gun says this is an example of a stupid person with a platform. Okay. Sure. Y'all are so against freedom that I have to be a crackhead in order for it to make sense. Oh, but well, what would we do without government? Jason D, if you smoke and drive, I hope you don't hurt somebody one day. And then he asked if I'm a crackhead. I'm going to let you take a guess. Take a guess. Who is enforcing people's rights? Great question, DJ T-Jop. T-Jop, TJOP, asked a great question. Who is enforcing people's rights? The individual. The individual is going to enforce their own rights. You know what that means? That means that the individual will be able and willing, if they're willing, to carry the tools and the means to defend themselves against anyone who may violate them by any means necessary. You have to enforce your own rights, because that's what individual sovereignty is. Individual sovereignty is not only do you have ownership over your own self, but you have it's your responsibility to defend your sovereignty, not anybody else's. So let's say you own some land, it's sovereign land. Well, who is responsible for protecting your land? Who's responsible for harvesting fruits and vegetables on your land? Who's responsible, if you have animals on your land, who's responsible for the raising of those animals? If you're able to hunt on your land or fish on your land, who's responsible for providing and going out there and getting that fish and hunting that meat? You. Why would it be anybody else's responsibility? You know what I'm saying? You have to be. That's what freedom is about. Freedom is dangerous. See, a lot of people think that pro-freedom individuals have some idea of a utopia where everybody is frolicking through the meadows and fruit and vegetables and meat are falling from the sky and there's waves and there's fields of gold and you can just go scoop it up and then everything just happens. No. Freedom is dangerous. But freedom is openly dangerous. You know what's more dangerous? The illusion of peace that government tyranny foists on people. I say freedom is only dangerous for those who crave power. That's not true. It's dangerous for everyone. If you are a free individual, you are solely responsible for your own well-being. There's no emergency services. There's no, there's nothing. You have to be responsible. But the good thing about it is, there's nothing wrong with order, right? There's nothing wrong with order or anything like that. So individuals will be free to congregate and build small communities where they can share some responsibility for each other. There'll be a level of reciprocity where if I have goats on my land, I can take some milk from my goats and I can go to the guy down the road who has chickens, and I give him some milk, he give me some chicken eggs, bada boom, bada bing. We work in concert together. We trade, we barter for goods and services. You can have that community could help train up individuals to be doctors, veterinarians, electricians, carpenters. Because we have the knowledge right now, there's so much information at our fingertips. There are so many doctors and lawyers. There's so many carpenters and electricians. There's so many people that, if you really engineers, structural engineers, electrical engineers, civil engineers, the people that make this shit work, the people that build the infrastructures and are responsible for maintaining the infrastructures, which they do so poorly, and they do so poorly because government runs it. There are so many individuals, so much knowledge, that if we wanted to right now, so many people out there with knowledge of how to defend, how to, like military veterans. There's so much knowledge out there amongst the people. The government doesn't make shit run. No, it's the people within government. It's the people that the government contracts to. that know how to do this work. There are so many people with so much knowledge out there. All we have to do is gather them up and become self-sufficient. Become self-sufficient. That's called voluntarism. Everybody has a place. Everybody is carrying their own weight. There will be no need for Social Security. There will be no need for Medicaid and Medicare. It sounds like socialism, right? It's not really socialism. It's not really communism. What that is just doing what humans do naturally, right? Because human beings are social creatures. It's been like that for thousands and thousands of years, millions of years. Before government, people worked together in tribes. They worked together. They were nomads. They moved about the land. They looked out for each other. They built shelters together. They hunted together. But there was no government. You might have had a tribal chief, but he was a leader that was chosen by the people because there was something in him that was exceptional. And he led by example, and people wanted to follow that example because he did so freely. And he was a reluctant leader that did not abuse his power because there was no concept of that. There was no concept. That concept grew when agriculture started. It grew when we became sedentary, when we started building structures and shelters where, we no longer have to move around. And people these leaders had children, and their children had children, and eventually they were like, well, look at what my family built. Look what my family built. That means that these people are living the way they live because my family built this. And because my family built it, that means I should be in charge. And people start to abuse that power. When you abuse that power that you have over people, that's when it becomes a problem. Because it started with leadership. It started with leadership and it grew into dictatorship because they saw that as a way. Listen, we have agriculture, we have farming, we have ranching. And we need to start, because we have built so much for these people, because we started to industrialize, well, we obviously, because we built this, we know better than them. That's where elitism came from. Elitism is about a select few individuals that believe they know what's good for everybody else. And they believe that because humans evolved. Humans evolved to learn how to use tools, to create language, to use mathematics. And they started to build. They started to do this. They started to spread education. And they said, well, not everybody knows these things. Not everybody has this knowledge. So because we have all this knowledge that no one else has, that means that we actually are better than them. We're better than them, so they should listen to us. When did agriculture start? It started way back in the day. It's ancient Egypt, I believe. Right? Yeah, agriculture started 10,000 years ago. Yeah. Because they learn how to start growing certain fruits and vegetables. And then they learned, well, instead of hunting these animals, why don't we take a couple of these animals and will contain them. They'll mate and they'll have children, and we wouldn't have to hunt so much. At first it was about efficiency, right? Efficiency. But then it just grew and grew from there. It grew and grew and grew. My baby girl going to the bus. Joshua Tift. Anyway, who created man to till the soil? God created man to till the soil? Okay. Well, nope. God created man, and if God created man, they started with hunting and gathering. That's how it started. Anyway, y'all, the bottom line is this. Yeah, Bill Clinton probably participated in this nasty behavior, and he's a Democrat, right? He told Jeffrey Epstein at 50 years old that he loved his childlike qualities, which probably really spoke to his nasty proclivities and how he provided services to people with nasty proclivities. But we have to remember, it's not about left or right, Democrat or Republican. It's about the people involved in this shit are on the elite level, and they need to be exposed. It doesn't matter if they're left or right. And when they are exposed, we need to handle them all equally. T-Jop says brev yapping. Okay, let me help you out. Because you guys obviously don't know what to do when you guys feel like somebody's just yapping. If Bill did lock his dirty ass up right next to Trump, yes. Anybody who did, lock their ass up next to each other. Point blank and period. Release Ashley Biden's diary, yes. Let's expose all of it. Expose all of it. Expose all of it. Anyway, much love, guys. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for liking and sharing if you liked and shared. There are 338 people in here. Can we get the likes to 100 before y'all get out of here? I'd appreciate that. Well, J&L, we would lock Trump up if we find out that he was one of the individuals that were diddling the children. Real Eyes, salute to you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for being in here. Why didn't Biden release the Epstein stuff? That's a great question. No one talked about this when Biden was president, but that's okay. Anyway, y'all stay up, stay safe, keep your family safe. Look out for your children, because the children are the least protected class in the entire world. Your children are the least protected class, not the elemental P's, not the whites, not the blacks, not the Hispanics, not the immigrants. The children are the least protected class in the entire world, bar none. Ask Madeleine Albright if it was worth killing 500,000 children in the Middle East when she fomented war. Ask her. It's worth it. So destroying your children is worth obtaining more power for these people. And that's what we have to remember. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you to all my moderators. Barbie, Kayla, salute to you. Yes, elite is elite and evil is evil. And remember, even if you vote for the lesser of two evils, you're still voting for evil. And how do you know which is the lesser evil? And that's what we have to remember. Anyway, much love. Like, share, subscribe. I'll holla at y'all tomorrow for the next morning paper. Later on, I'll probably be discussing boxing because I love boxing as well. And Gervonta Tonka Truck Davis is on some bullshit, but we're going to talk about that later. Much love. Like, share, subscribe, and we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Please.